down the stretch. Foul topic. I pretty much called this Riis. I mean, the last month, and I know we're a little adamant. I mean, you're a little adamant. I felt the momentum was coming. I clearly saw this coming from a mile away. But once it got the hands started forcing hands down a couple weeks ago, we look at Daniel Snyder of the Washington NFL team. He retires the Redskins, name, logo, and pretty much their legacy right there as they get ready to transition to new name change. But first things first, I mean, the most obvious elephant in the room, too, which is came out late Thursday afternoon in the evening, was that they had 15 former female employees there who was actually used to work for that organization. And one of the more voices that stood out and spoke public was Emily Applegate, who worked as a marketing coordinator and left there about 5 years ago. And she was the only woman to speak to the newspaper on the record about her experience working for them. Allegations which actually involved former longtime voice of the Redskins, play-by-play announcer Larry Michael. And they also had two players and director of pro personnel and an assistant, Alex Santos, and of course, Richard Mann II right there, who were kind of like making allegations towards women right there. And you also see some other changes too with the Madden NFL 21 game release coming up, where they're going to be removing the name and the logo once people connect to the internet and make the updates. But I want to ask you right now, once again, how much trouble right now? I mean, obviously, Dan Snyder has done an independent investigation, but how does this sit well going forward? I mean, I know you had Mark Cuban not too long ago with the Mavericks, a little over a year ago. He had his situation with some internal harassment. Do you think Snyder is getting to a point where he's on the hot seat right now with the NFL owners and the commissioner?
I believe everybody's on the hot seat right now. If you do anything right now that isn't the right thing, it's going to be looked on times two, especially when you got a name change already and you can add that to it. It doesn't look good. So he's definitely in the hot seat. I wouldn't be surprised if I see the commissioner, come down on him, just to show that nobody is above it, even the owners and things like that. And it's a time for change. Like I always said, to me, when you change things, it's really more of the meaning. So now I always say, are they changing it because of the meaning of it or because of what's going through right now? The name been standing there for over 50 years and things like that. So
right.
With that being said, what made it change now? Like what difference is the name being changed now? Are you issuing out an apology? Are you going to donate to the Native Americans? Like it's always to me what's next. So to change the name today, you just now realize that it was a derogatory name. So now all them other years when you praised this name, what were you thinking then? So that's what I always say. It's really okay, what now? Are you truly sorry? And what are you going to do now from here on out?
Yeah, and that's the thing that is just really sad is because, you know what? Obviously, he's just a cold, hard-blooded businessman. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think any intentions, but it's just more about losing money. I mean, you're looking at. But I want to just ask you real quickly, are you leaning towards the lines after hearing what you're saying that we could probably see him be forced out as an owner?
It wouldn't be surprised, but I don't see forced out. It's really how he kind of handles the situation. Like you said, maybe a donation to the Native Americans and things like that. But it's kind of really how he handles the situation. What more further details do we come out? If any details come out that any of what's being said is true and that, and all allegations are true, then yes, he's forced out. But if they just remain allegations and no proof and things like that, then the name change is a success. I think everything will be okay.
I even suggested too, because I actually had a special guest, Laura Rutledge from ESPN, I spoke to on one of my podcasts, who's actually the new host of NFL Live. And I suggest too, because I mean, you look at what the NFL does throughout the year. I mean, their most target dates, what they usually do in October. They have breast cancer awareness. You have Veterans Month for November. My suggestion too for Black Lives Matter, if you want to throw Native Americans in this too, I mean, which they feel like they have some pride. Why not do something for the month of December around Christmas time? You do some donations right there, like how you do on Mother's and Father's Day. You dedicate something. I know I've been pitching my ideas about raising money for stuff you do in the game, like defensive takeaways for touchdowns, special teams returns for touchdowns, 2-point conversions. I mean, you could do like $500,000 right there. I just think that'd be a good time right there because Christmas, you want to like keep people in good spirits, have a good jolly spirit around there, look like it's still nateable, and like you're caring for people. I know there's been a little mixed emotions with the Black National Anthem that's been playing week 1. We haven't heard so much about that in the last 2 weeks, other when it first came out, but that'd be my pitch. Do something around December around that time.
Like I say, I'm living in a world where I'm seeing things that I grew up on was the norm and that I knew was wrong. And now, years later, they're trying to correct it. So it's always, to me, where was this then? And then I'm like, I'm always curious to see now since you've decided this is wrong and everything, like, what are you going to do next? Like, how are you going to correct your wrong? Just changing the name is not going to fix it. Are you going to, like you said, do something for them, donate to them, proceed to this, do things in that area. But if you just going to say, oh, it's wrong and change it, then to me, those 50 plus 60 years this franchise was there, it means nothing. They're still, to me, the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But let's just move on real quick. We got some other stuff coming up as we relate to the season right now. We already heard some dates announced for training camp schedules. And here's the current rundown of that right now. According to NFL Network and multiple reports around the league, as right now, here's what we got. So we got this Tuesday coming up. We're going to have rookies being reported on the 21st. And then 2 days after that, on the 23rd, quarterbacks and injured players will be on there. And then July 28th, which would be a Tuesday, that's where all teams will need to be mandated to report. I mean, still the obvious concerns right now during this time is trying to figure out how they can recoup some of the money that's going to be lost right now, because they've already been asked to have 35% of their money be put into an investment escrow account, but preseason has been cut in half to 2 games. Players' organization is why they have no preseason games at all. I mean, they're demanding that they try to have any games. So that's where we stand right now. Any thoughts, comments, concerns about that as we get into our segment here?
You're not going to do preseason. I think you should do preseason, and maybe what you can do is, if you're worried about players, then if you have any guarantee your first stringers that players that you feel like you want to already guarantee make your team, put them on your team. After that, if you have any other players that you are unsure about, because that's the opportunity for no names to make a name, to make a team. So to eliminate preseason is kind of eliminate opportunities for other players. The only way I accept you eliminate preseason is if you can up the roster to 75, but then, like you said, that great is a chance of even more people getting infected. So I believe that if you want to do anything, keep preseason. You'll guarantee people that are going to make the roster. You keep them, the coaches, the senior assistants out there. Play the people that you aren't sure about. Play those 2 games, add them to your team. But it does need to be a preseason.
Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting point you continue to bring up again right now because I think they only increased the roster size by only 2 more players from 53 to 55. I think it's been one of the changes with the CBA. I think you have to reconsider right now making it a lot more of an available group just in case because I go back and forth with a guy here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, hey man, the Mike Paul Campos, and we've been talking, and he's still a little skeptic right now how a season is even going to get in. I mean, what are you going to do in situations? I mean, when a whole team has to it gets infected with COVID-19. I mean, like I said, I still feel like right now through all this, at the end of the day, I mean, listen, I mean, it's not the most rosiest situation or scenarios going on right now, but I just believe right now, I mean, you got what are you going to do for next season? I mean, you got so much risk right now.
I
And
believe that this can work. It just need testing. So you before, so you would test a player. You can get results in about 2 days. You would know if anything should happen that week, and they have to go off to the bubble. Now, after they're bubbled off, then they play. After they play the game, the following day they get tested because they usually don't practice anywhere until Wednesday. So they get tested. Everything come back Wednesday, come to practice, do the same thing over and over again. That way you would know if anyone has the virus on the team before you go up against them.
all right, one last thing in closing too. I don't know if you've been getting a chance to hear all around. I mean, I know if things did not go out of control, usually around this time it's like where you would have like the Hall of Fame coming around the corner in a couple of weeks. But aside from that, from a football fan, you also would be people will be so pumped up for Madden NFL. Did you get a chance to see any of the Madden NFL ratings at all?
No, but the Madden has always been a great, rating game. I actually prefer when they used to have in NFL 2K, but it was so good that Madden bought the rights, so that game no longer exists. But
I think that was after 2005. I think was the last time.
well, the last one, and it was so good. Madden bought the rights, so no other football game can be made. But what I can say is that I may get it this year. I'm kind of waiting on the PS5. So once the PS5 come, I'm going to buy one of those, and then I'll have it on there, and I'm sure it'll be incredible.
So
I
let
used
me
to
ask you a
actually
question.
be ranked number 50 in the world in Madden '08. Can you believe that?
You were 50 as far as like an online
50.
player.
Yes, as far in the world,
Nice,
I was that good.
nice. Yeah, let me ask you a question real quick. I want to get this off my chest, and aside from the shirt that I'm wearing, but be honest with me. I know this is one quarterback right now, and I could not believe this. But again, I understand what the injury he's had, but Ben Roethlisberger, according to like the man ratings, is not a top 10 quarterback.
He's now what, a top 10 quarterback?
He's not a top 10 according to the Madden ratings. What's your reaction to that?
Could be probably correct. He had a very bad season. I think he's top 15, but I mean, you can really think about. You don't think, even though you're a Steelers fan, you don't think that you can name 10 quarterbacks right now in the league that's better than him. Just really think about that. After last season,
I still think he could be in top 10. I mean, I mean, like more towards like the lower portion of the list. I just have a hard time believing he's not top 10, only because what you saw what he did. Like even when he had Antonio Brown and like the weapons around him, I still believe this is a guy right now.
and
I
so
mean, when he puts a lot on his back and when he throws, I mean, he's still able to make plays around him. I think just the only thing that's really flat hurting the situation, he's got the throwing elbow injury. And we just don't know like what kind of rhythm he's going to get in with his teammates. You got a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster right now who is trying to play for long term. I mean, probably not. We'll see. James Conner's will probably be the odd man out between the two. But I just feel like right now when they look at the defense that got built around him and what he's been able to pull off before, even before Antonio Brown got there, this is still a guy who's willing to put all on the line, roll the dice, and keep his team in games.
So What you're saying is that this is all before Madden ratings are based off what you did last year, and so because of his last year, then
I understand that part. I'm just saying in general, like not top 10. That's all I'm saying.
No, I gotta agree. I gotta say that as of right now, he's not top 10. If I had my tablet, I could probably look at teams. I could just name people off. That let's just say like even we could say people like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, the Chiefs. It's a lot of things it's a lot of quarterbacks that I can Russell Westbrook. It's quarterbacks I can name right now that had a better season. So top 10 right now, then yeah. I mean, no, but top 15. I can see him like 11, 12.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's probably like around 7 or 8, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm just being a little bit generous, but I just still believe he's got that left in him. And we just got to see how he comes off recuperating from injury. I mean, of course, nothing is promised. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I do see a guy like Ben Roethlisberger. Like I said, he's a guy who, when you look at it, I mean, people can always argue he had weapons both around him, but at the same time, this is intensity that he brings around his teammates and what he's able to put on the line. So
yeah,
I'll give him like
what
a
he's
7
able
or
to
8
put on the line, of course, he's a great quarterback, but I think right now Ben needs to show us that he's top 10. Like I said, we got
I'm sorry.
The MVP. I think right now we have to. Ben has to show. Like we got MVP, Lamar Jackson, things like that. So I just don't think right now. I'm gonna real quick. Just look at the teams just like offhand as I can, look at it. I don't think Dak Prescott may be a little tired, but I'm looking at like Tom Brady, Russell Westbrook, Jimmy Garoppolo, Aaron Rodgers, the Chiefs quarterback that just won. What's his name? I don't even know how I forgot his name. Who the Chiefs quarterback? Mahomes. Like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Drew Brees. I'm looking at people like that, and this Deshaun Watson. Like I said, so I can see him close, maybe 11, but right now
I'm not sure about 11, but yeah,
he has to really prove it. Only because of last season, like you said, when he had them players like Antonio Brown, he did show it, but that was last season. This is a new season. I mean, last season was not a good one for him in injuries, so they definitely had to make him not top 10.
Well, I'm gonna go right now. If I had to name my top 10 quarterbacks right now, just to finish, I'm gonna go definitely. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. He's the pace of the NFL right now, for the moment. Then I had to go with Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. Then followed by him, I will definitely go for my number 3 quarterback.
Jimmy
I will
Garoppolo.
go with Deshaun Watson of the Texans. 4th, we're gonna have to go with. You could probably say Aaron Rodgers right now at that point.
Say yeah.
And then after him, I would say
Drew
Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees. That's 5 or 6.
That's 5.
That's 5.
Now, Jimmy Garoppolo will be 6. Don't get me wrong. Jimmy Garoppolo is a decent quarterback, but I don't think he's on that level yet first year. But I think he could get there, so I'll put him 6. I'm not sure if he's top 5 just yet.
I gotta go. I gotta go. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I gotta go. 6.
Give me Carson Wentz for 7th.
Carson Wentz. That's there you go. That's another one.
Then give me Tom Brady for 8th.
That's another one.
9th, I would have to go. Let's see. Maybe I would say 9th. This is where Ben Roethlisberger would sneak in there. Give me Ben at 9. And then
no,
last.
I can't. I gotta get 9. I gotta get. What about Russell Westbrook?
I put Russell
Russell
Westbrook, I think, in the top 5.
Russell Wilson.
I mean, Wilson is what I meant. Not Westbrook.
Oh, you say you already put him in a 5?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Sorry for confusing everybody. So
yeah, I always forget.
So that will be 9.
Cousins.
Cousins, I think, will be 10th. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and I think that guy that Allen has a little from Buffalo that he got a little, and then like you said, it's very interesting, or the Jets, I mean, but it's very, very interesting to see. But I'm gonna look it up and see where he's at position, and then next week I have it for you.
I mean, Josh Allen, just keep in mind, he threw for 3,089 yards passing with 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. But
That's
also,
what I'm saying.
But also,
he rushed some.
The rushing you also got to put in the equation too, where he also did a lot of rush too, where rushed for 510 yards.
Yeah, I can see him being rated higher than Russell Westbrook on the video. I mean, I'm sorry, they've been Rosenberg on a video game.
That's why I think just Rosberg. I think he's just getting the treatment because his elbow. That's why they're just concerned. Yep. I mean, that previous year and the chemistry is going to continue to develop with his teammates.
That's what it is.
I think he's going to play with vengeance this year for some reason, but at the same time, we just don't know. But anyway, that's going to do it for a wrap for this edition of On Deck here on CSR. Riis, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Anything you want to plug coming up this week?
No, nothing much, man. I got the opportunity last week to be a part of this project called Smiling Eyes. We rent and we fed over 1,000 families on the south and west side.
Good for you, man.
I got the chance to meet with a rap icon in Chicago's own Twister.
Nice.
He came out there and he spoke to us, so it was a chance to give back. Still have my same show on Wednesdays, where y'all can find me at on Facebook at Kimo Sabi. Middle name is Big Ballin' is my last name Hobby. Kind of easy to find if you type in Kimo Sabi Hobby. Other than that, I got my YouTube pages coming up and my fan pages, so just be looking out for me, guys. And that's all. I can't wait to get back into the studio. I'm actually trying to turn my basement into a podcast. So nice. Good luck to me on that.
You'll get there. I do want to plug out one thing to a friend of mine right there who I've been in touch with. Her name's Jennifer Garrett. She's been doing a book called Move the Ball, as far as like helping people meet goals in business or personal in life, what we try and strive for. Right now, she's got right now trying to develop something for a group dedicated to women right now, and where it's called She's Got Game. And basically this is trying for women basically to try and have a platform for them for success, motivation, and something they can cling to on some positivity level. So I wanted to put that out there for her.
Very good.
If you want to check her out, her name's Jennifer Garrett. She's got something she just mentioned about a week ago. So She's Got Game as a group she's creating. So trying to bring some nice positive emotion amongst women and something to feel good about themselves as you try and go on. But anyway, nice charity right there, by the way, Riis. Glad to have you back. And as we always leave you, don't be trolling, be rolling.
Be rolling.
Have a great weekend, man.
He's got it. That's a winner.